My friends, grab your finest feather quill and your unrealistically long sheet of unbroken paper. It is wish list time. Actually, when I was a kid, they had these printers. I mean, I think even at the time they were like kind of old, but the printers with like the long sheets of paper, and like it's got the serrated part so you can take it apart, but it still comes in like one giant stack of unbroken paper. Those were the best. Those are the best for Christmas lists. You could just write all the way down and do it just like the cartoon characters with like the long and all the paper. Anyway, right now I'm gonna go over all of my video game related wishes for 2025. We'll start with Nintendo, and then we'll do the broader gaming sphere. I already went over most of my Switch 2 related wishes in my Switch 2 wish list, but I'll touch on it a little bit here. I really do want 3D Mario at launch. I really do. It's a perfect choice. I really cannot wait to play a new 3D Mario, so that's my big wish there. And even if not, even if we don't get 3D Mario at launch, whatever we do get, I hope that it is really big. I'm basically just wishing for a really, really big launch for the Switch. I don't want there to be any hiccups. I don't want there to be any question of like, oh, is this game really like good enough to be the launch title? I want us to have like every reason to go out and get a Switch 2 on launch day. I want it to be the biggest launch of any video game console ever. I think that would be a lot of fun. And the Switch 2 itself, I really do want there to be like some sort of performance boost mode for games. I don't want it to just be remasters. I want to be able to load up my whole old library and have it all run better. And then you know what? Golly, it really is just like hitting me how important it's going to be for Nintendo to get the eShop right on the Switch 2. So another wish is that the eShops are separate. You have to go into like a different menu or something to access the original eShop. They really need a fresh start. The eShop has become so incredibly bloated with just horrible nonsense AI asset flip garbage. So there's something I didn't really touch on before that I am very much wishing now. The Switch 2 eShop needs better moderation. I'm hoping that Nintendo, they used to be a lot more strict about what they would allow on the eShop, and then with the Switch, they kind of opened it up. I'm hoping that they recognize now that there needs to be some sort of vetting process here, because it's just, with the rise of generative AI, it's gotten even worse than it ever has been before. It's horrible. So Switch 2 eShop, we need changes. We need somebody moderating this stuff. And then, whether or not it's at launch or later in the year, I'm just looking for something really, really new from Nintendo. At least within the first year of the Switch 2's life, I think it would be fun if they, announced either a new IP or like a new use of an old IP. I just want something new. And this is probably predictable coming from me if you've been watching my previous wish list videos, but I want it to have broad appeal. I want it to be some sort of like adventure game or something, not multiplayer. For the original Switch, ARMS was like a big new thing for them, but the problem is it's like primarily multiplayer, you've reduced the audience, and then primarily motion controlled. At least it's designed to be used with motion controls. You've reduced it down a lot more, you know what I mean? Give us an adventure game, or maybe a platformer, just something with a character running around, just something like really and truly new. And I'm not saying it like can't have any kind of multiplayer element. It's just that like when you put multiplayer into it, that kind of becomes like the thing. I'm looking for an adventure here. We can all hope for and look forward to the obvious ones, the Marios, Mario Kart and all them, Zelda, but like, I don't know, just really surprise us. So next, I'm hoping that Nintendo doesn't announce too much stuff beyond 2025. The first year of the Switch's life was really great, and that like June Nintendo Direct, they announced so many things and they were so excited. They wanted to give us a real taste of all the stuff that we'd be playing in the coming years. And even like the January 2017 presentation, that first year, they revealed a lot of games that went relatively deep into the life of the Switch. We ended up having to wait a really long time for some of those games, Metroid Prime 4 being the most obvious example. And that was cool because like they were getting used to being successful again. You know, they wanted to get everyone all hyped for the future of the Switch. This time, I really hope they don't do that. I'm really hoping that we don't get too many 2026 games announced. Maybe like one or two that we're like reasonably confident will be 2026 games. Nothing really beyond that, you know? I don't want them to reveal games that I will be waiting 2 years plus for. That's too much. Let's start the new generation off with a clean slate and make a habit of just keeping things a little closer to the chest. And speaking of Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, that releases next year, and I very much wish for it to, well, I mean, be good. I really, after waiting this long, I very much hope that it turns out, you know, satisfying myself and other Metroid fans. But I also just like, I want it to like sell. You know, I really, really want it to sell well. And I feel like in order to sell well, it's gonna need to be a little bit more than just another Metroid Prime game. It's gonna need to be really appealing. Maybe do something relatively new with its structure, with the formula. I'm really not exactly sure. I need it to do well. I just really, really need it to do well. It's been a really long time, and this is a really important thing for the series, because like Nintendo is taking a big risk developing what is clearly a very expensive game in a series that traditionally just does not sell that well. So, fingers crossed there. And then also, I would love to get remasters of Metroid Prime 2 and 3, ideally before the launch of Metroid Prime 4. And I'm not going to be surprised if they end up being more straightforward ports. I'm not expecting the full remaster treatment for both, but this is a wish list, so I wish for those. I wish for them having a complete, like, asset remake, remaster, like, trilogy. I mean, you know, there was once a time when we were just hoping for any kind of, even just like an upscaled HD version of the trilogy. We just wanted to have the trilogy on Switch. So if we end up getting the trilogy, but it's all like completely like remade assets and really super beautiful and everything, I mean, that would be a mighty fine outcome. And you know, while we're wishing for Metroid stuff, I don't expect to see news about new games next year because we already have Prime 4. They're going to want to focus on that. But I mean, some sort of a teaser or reveal or confirmation of Metroid 6, I would not be opposed to. Next, Pokemon Legends ZA also comes out next year, and I also just simply hope for that to be good. I would love for it to be just a non-controversial, legitimately good Pokemon experience. I think that would be nice, and I know I've said it a million times, but I would also love for it to be cross-gen. I just think that would be perfect. And my final wish for Nintendo in 2025, I want them to expand even further into the realm of, you know, shows and movies. It was several years ago now that they talked about wanting to expand, and then of course they finally did release the Mario movie. It was a big success, and now they're working on Mario movie 2, and they're working on a Zelda movie, and that's great. But just like, what about the shows? You know? What about shows? I'm ready for that. I want 2025 to be the year when we finally get at least one show. Don't just do movies. There's no reason to just do movies. We've been getting so many great video game adaptations recently in movies and shows, and that's a weird thing to say. It's a weird sentence to say out loud. It's weird that this is the reality we live in. Like, the world is falling apart, but you know what? It's weird. Video game movies and stuff, they suddenly got good. So it's like, I just want Nintendo to get in on it a little bit more, you know? Even if it's just like fairly basic animated stuff. I mean, if Castlevania can get like several, like a bunch of seasons on Netflix, Metroid can get one. You know, it can get like a little 10 episode season. Or Splatoon. I'm waiting for the Splatoon show. I cannot believe it's been this long and we haven't gotten it. There's so much potential for all these IPs. They talk about wanting to do more with them. So do it. Hit us with it. Don't be shy. We, the fans, want cross-media entertainment that leverages these classic IPs, please. So then as for my wishes beyond Nintendo, I would say I have one big one right now, and it's Resident Evil 9. That's the non-Nintendo game that I am hoping to see in 2025. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. 7 and 8 and 4 Remake were just incredibly good. I feel like Capcom has just continued to evolve and perfect the Resident Evil formula. They're doing an amazing job. We've had rumors about 9 for a while, and give me some Resident Evil 9. I'm ready. And while we're here, honestly, I genuinely do not know if I want it to be first person or third person. I really don't know. There are benefits to both. Both are really good. I mean, I guess they introduced the third person mode in 8, so that means that they could potentially give us the option for either. But I don't know if I want the option. I don't know. I kind of want it one way or the other, but I like both so much. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know which one I want, sorry. Which I think is amazing, by the way. Like, when they announced that 7, a mainline game, was gonna be first person, it was like kind of scary, because that's like a big change, and now I'm saying that I genuinely don't know which I prefer. Capcom's amazing. They're really killing it. Anyway, here's a big wish. It is not one that I am counting on, this year at the Game Awards. Fumito Ueda's new game, currently tentatively titled Project Robot, it was revealed, and it seems that it's probably still got a ways to go. Maybe they didn't give any kind of like release window or anything, but what is this? It's a wish list. I wish that in 2025, Project Robot gets a new trailer with a 2026 release date / window. Wishing for it to come out in 2025 is a little bit too far-fetched, but we could get like a full reveal with a 2026 release window. That would make me very happy. And then, of course, just because I always have to put it on the wish list, Play Dead Game 3. You know? All right. Ueda finally played his hand. Finally did it. Revealed the game that was never coming. Where's yours, Play Dead? Where is yours? It's been a heck of a long time since Inside. I'm waiting. Is 2025 gonna be the year? I don't know, but I wish for it to be very much. So then another wish. I really just hope that 2025 is a better year for Sony. You know, I don't like to see them struggle. I don't want to dislike the company. I don't enjoy it, you know. I have been a pretty good PlayStation fan in the past. I've owned all of the systems. They put out a lot of great games and created a lot of great IPs over the course of their entire history, and then this generation has just been so weird. We've seen them kind of like leaning into grosser and grosser business practices, so like let's just see them alter course a little bit. You know, there have been management shakeups. They had a big pivot into live service, and now they're kind of like realizing that that might not have been a good idea and maybe kind of pulling away. So just, I want a better year for Sony. I want them to announce, like on a personal level, I want them to announce any games that I care about. You know what I mean? I've had the worst luck. Even the stuff that they do release, it just keeps being stuff I just could not, like superheroes. I'm really sorry. I'm sure Spider-Man and all that, I'm sure it's great, but just like every single game they could possibly put out, if it's a superhero game, I don't care. I'm not going to care. It's just not my thing. I got Astrobot in 2024, so I can't really complain. I did end up getting one thing from Sony I really cared about. Let's go for another one. Let's go for another one in 2025. Just some sort of game that they announce for my PlayStation 5 that makes me go, hey, that actually looks pretty cool. And on that note, something Bloodborne related would also be nice. Here's another one that usually makes the wish list. Remaster / PC port would be pretty cool. Sequel, maybe a little doubtful, especially because like we already have FromSoft's game next year is going to be Elden Ring Night Rain, so I'm not expecting anything else major from FromSoft in 2025. But yeah, you know, it'd be cool. Just some Bloodborne kind of related thing. And also just on, you know, while talking about Night Rain, there's a game I just hope I like. I just hope that I enjoy. I hope it clicks with me. I hope I get a chance to at least play it some. I hope it doesn't end up just being one of those things that I would if I had someone to play with. I just don't have time, and then it kind of passes me by, and then I never play it. I don't want that to happen. Although I do recognize that this is essentially me wishing for things beyond the scope of what video game people can give me. I'm wishing to have the time to do something. So I don't know if that's quite realistic to wish for. But you know, another thing I would really like to see in 2025, more surprise indie hits. You know, we're always getting these just random little games that just come in, your Balatros and whatnot, that just, against all odds, it's just, I don't know, there's a million indie games come out every single day, and then you'll just get one, and it's just like, what is this? Why has it just set the world on fire and sold millions and millions of units and attracted all these collaborations with all of these giant companies and IPs and everything? It just feels so good whenever it happens. And I want to see it happen even more. I mean, my game of the year for 2024 was Animal Well. That's genuinely the best game that I played all year. So like, I want to see more of that. I know the entire industry is struggling, and like indie developers and publishers, they are not immune to it. They're not immune to the greater struggles, but it still just feels good whenever some scrappy little dev just comes up with a great concept and it works just because it is so genuinely good. And on that note, it sure would be nice if 2025 was a little better to game developers. You know, 2023 was a rough year with all the layoffs and whatnot, and we were all wishing for 2024 to be better, and boy, it wasn't. It wasn't better at all. In fact, it was actually like worse. It was actually like considerably worse. So can we just cool down a little bit? All of the greed and all of the layoffs and studio closures. Can we get a little break from all of that? Can we have 2025 actually feel like a good year for video games and the people that make them? I would like to wish for that. I think that would be really nice. And my final wish is that you, listening to this, have a wonderful year. I hope you have a magical year. Why? How about the best year of your life, or at least like a top 5 year? That is what I wish for you. I wish for you to understand how lovely I believe you are, and how deeply I appreciate you watching my videos. Thank you, and happy holidays. Wait a second. Whoa, no, wait a second. I didn't do a part of the video. I just did this whole outro. Literally just hit me this second. I'm supposed to go over my wishes from last year and see if they came true. Okay, sorry, hold on. I'm gonna bring up last year's video. We gotta go over that real quick. My first wish for 2024 was for Paper Mario Thousand Year Door Remake to sell really well. To sell well enough to definitively send a message to Nintendo that we like this formula. It sold okay. It sold pretty good. 2 million. It's pretty okay. It's probably in line with what we should have expected. So it's all right. Wish it sort of came true. It wasn't a failure. So there you go. I also wished that Pikmin 4 would continue to sell well and have like legs going into the next year. And doesn't really seem to be the case. They haven't really like updated it with much higher numbers. So yeah, I guess that one didn't quite come true. I also wished for DLC, and that flat out did not happen. Sad cry tear. I also wished for Super Mario Bros. Wonder DLC. I did not get that. What is with Nintendo? We just have more money. We just want to throw at them. Why won't they do it? Like DLC, they always end up selling less game for more money. You know, we end up paying like disproportionately more money for the amount of game that we get, but we don't even care. We just want more of the game. Don't you like money, Nintendo? What's wrong with you? Okay, so in last year's wishlist video, I talked about Elden Ring DLC, you know, pretty sure it was going to come out this year, hoping it was like cool and good and stuff, and that did happen. We did end up getting Elden Ring DLC this year. It did end up being really good, but funny enough, I was, one of my wishes was for it to be I just kind of thought it was a cool idea if it was like its own mini campaign. You know, like you actually like start a new character and it's like its own kind of separate thing. And you know, that didn't happen. It wasn't even like that realistic of a wish, but they did reveal Elden Ring Night Rain, which essentially is Elden Ring, except a roguelite. So like you have these little mini runs where you start a new character each time. And I don't know, that's sort of what I was talking about. You know, not exactly, but it kind of scratches that same itch, doesn't it? It's at least funny that I wished for that. Hey, look at this. Here's a wish that just straight up came true. You know, late 2023, they revealed the Zelda movie, and I just wanted confirmation sometime in 2024 that they were working on more than one movie at a time. I just didn't like the idea that they will just do Zelda for the next 5 years and we won't get Mario Movie 2 for 10 years or whatever. And, you know, it was probably never going to happen, but we did get that. We did get confirmation. They are working on both Zelda and Mario 2 right now, so that's nice. I also wished for a new Pokemon Legends game to release in 2024. We did not get a new Legends game, but we did get the announcement of a new Legends game. So there you go. That's really nice. Next best thing, essentially. Okay, so it's funny because basically every year, I don't know how far back this goes, but every year I wish for Retro Studios to reveal a game that is not necessarily Metroid Prime 4, just because I hate the idea that for the last like decade, they've just not worked on anything that didn't get canceled. That it's just everything they've been producing for this long stretch of time is nothing until they got Prime 4, and then that was what they worked on, and the rest of that time was just nothing. So yeah, I've wished for that for many years. Last year, I wished for it again, and even then, I mentioned how the year before that, I said I was going to stop wishing for it, because it's not coming true. They clearly don't have any other huge projects to show us. Obviously, we can't know for sure, but I'm done. I am done. See, I am done. I didn't wish for it. Perfect. I actually didn't wish for it in the main thing because I am done. I have no more hope that they have anything else to show us other than Prime 4, because it did not come true. It did not come true, and it's probably not going to come true. So last year, I wished for something from Next Level Games. They released Mario Strikers Battle League in 2022. So, I mean, this is essentially the third year I've said this in a row, just hoping that Nintendo acquiring them allows them to get more projects into production at a time. And it's possible that that is a thing that is happening and we just haven't seen the fruits of that yet. It takes a long time to make a game. So basically, I was just hoping for another Next Level Games game in 2024. It did not happen, unfortunately. Oh yeah, and then of course, when I wished for the something new from Nintendo that's not just exclusively multiplayer, I do wish for that every year. I should have mentioned that. That is something that happens every year. And no, that didn't happen. That didn't happen either. Play Dead Game 3, as we already talked about. No, did not get that. But did get Fumito Ueda game. So there you go. One giant wish. You can cross off the list. Then I had another Resident Evil related wish last year. I didn't expect the next mainline game, but I thought a reveal of Revelations 3 would be cool. I mean, that is another thing I would take. Can we just throw that on the list retroactively? I would also take Revelations 3 in 2025. But yeah, that didn't happen. Oh yeah, and then I guess I saved my biggest Nintendo wishes for the end because I'm going through the video here. I wished for Switch 2 in 2024. That didn't happen. I wished for Super Mario Odyssey 2 in 2024. That did not happen, and I have officially given up on that idea. Okay, so now that's it. That's the video. That's it. That's the end. I love you. I gotta end this. Bye.